integration. In this video series, we'll demonstrate about the top web technologies that are used in creating web applications in web.
Java allows you to play online games, chat with people around the world, calculate your mortgage interest, and view images in 3D, just to name a few. It's also integral to the intranet applications and other e-business solutions that are the foundation of corporate computing.
Java language is a third generation language, and it's free and open source, and it is much powerful. It's the most popular programming language for programmers around the world. Java is platform independent, so we call it WORA. What is this WORA? What does that mean? WORA means write one, run anywhere. Web applications do not require any complex rollout procedure to deploy in large organizations. It is just a compatible web browser, that's all it is needed. Browser applications typically require little or no disk space on the client. They require no upgrade procedure since all the new features are implemented on the server and automatically delivered to the users. Web applications integrate easily into the server-side web procedures such as email and searching. They also provide cross-platform compatibility in most cases, like Windows, Mac, Linux, because they operate within a web browser. With the advent of HTML5, the newest version of the HTML, programmers can create richly interactive environments natively within their browsers. Included in the list of new features are native audio, video, and animation, as well as improved data handling. The lifecycle of a servlet is controlled by the container in which the servlet has been deployed. When a request is mapped to a servlet, the container performs few steps. If an instance of the servlet does not exist, the web container loads the servlet class, creates an instance of the class of the servlet, and it initializes the servlet instance by calling the init method. If you look into this diagram, it shows us the life of a JSP file. So there you can see there's a web request, web client request from the client side. So request goes to the JSP page, and this JSP page comes into this Tomcat server. It is translated by Tomcat, so we call it JSP translator. And this JSP translated code will convert it into a servlet source code, which is based on Java. So this .java classes will go into the embedded server compiler. So this Java compiler will mainly compile these Java extensions to .class extensions, which is identified using Java virtual machine. And then it goes in through this Java runtime environment, and then we can get the output to the client. So that is the basic architecture, and that is the basic life cycle of a JSP file. What is a servlet? Servlet is a Java programming language class used to extend the capabilities of servers that host applications accessed via a request-response programming model. Although servlets can respond to any type of request, that they are commonly used to extend the applications hosted by web servers. Thus, it can be thought of as a Java applet that runs on a server instead of a browser. JSP allows Java code and certain predefined actions to be interleaved with static web markup content, with the resulting page being compiled and executed on the server to deliver an HTML or XML document. The compiled pages and any dependent Java libraries use Java bytecode rather than a native software format, and must therefore be executed within a Java virtual machine that integrates with the host operating system to provide an abstract platform environment. Servlets can be generated automatically from Java server pages by the Java server pages compiler. The difference between servlets and JSP is that the servlets typically embed HTML inside Java code, while JSPs embed Java code in HTML. While the direct usage of servlets to generate HTML has become rare, there are many applications that uses this JSP technology to make their web applications rich. So you can see that there are two files in this diagram. The first one is sample.jsp. So if you can see, we can insert the Java code inside the HTML in this JSP Java server pages. If you look into the right side, .java class which calls the servlet. So inside of this Java class, we can embed HTML codes into this. This is the major difference between these JSPs and servlets. Now let's see actually how to deploy and run a servlet. So we need to use a web container. A web container, also known as a servlet container. So it is essentially the component of a web server that interacts with the servlet. The web container is responsible for managing the life cycle of servlets, and it maps the URL to a particular servlet and ensuring that the URL requester has the correct access right. Simply, a servlet is an object that receives a request and generates a response based on it. Now let's see what is this WAR file. It is just a web application, but it contains many files. The short form is WAR, and which means Web Application Archive. This is a Java file used to distribute a collection of JSPs. JSPs mean Java server pages, Java servlets, Java classes, XML files, tag libraries, and static web pages. And this all constitutes a web application finally. So this following example servlet prints how many times its service method was called. Now you see that the HTTP servlet, it is a subclass of generic servlet, an implementation of the servlet interface. So the service method of HTTP servlet class which dispatches requests to the method doGet, doPost, doPut, doDelete, and so on. According to the HTTP request in the example below, the method service is overridden and does not distinguish which HTTP request method it serves. Web.xml. This is a file which demonstrates how a servlet is declared and associated. So let's have a look what is this web.xml and how it looks like. So simply, if you talk about a servlet is a Java-based server-side web technology. As the name says, it serves a client request and get a response from the server. Technically speaking, a servlet is a Java class in Java EE. So what is this Java EE? If you're familiar with Java SC, the software developer, you may use a servlet to add dynamic content to a web server using Java platform. If you are already familiar doing programming with Java SC, we call it the standard edition of the Java platform. So then it's easy to go to webpack servlets, HTTP servlets. So in the Java servlets API, these HTTP servlets are located. So the Java servlet API it is in Java EE. We call it Java Platform Enterprise Edition. As well as Java technologies, as well as this Java web technologies, there are other similar but non-Java technologies. What are those? If you can remember, CGI, that is a web technology, but that is not based on Java programming language. And as well as ASP.NET, which uses C# programming, which was used by Microsoft. Likewise, there are many other web technologies, but